Hey YouTube, Estacado 5000 here. What's up? Here's another retro deck profile. It's called Phoenixan Black Garden Control. So here we go. We got free Phoenixan Cluster Amaryllis. Every time this card attacks at the end of the damage calculation, this card gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard. Your opponent loses 800 life points. And you can remove one plant type monster from your graveyard during your end phase and special summon this back to your side of the field in the defense position. And if this gets destroyed and sent to the graveyard, your opponent loses 800 life points again. So it's pretty crazy. It's also searchable through Botanical Girl's effect. And it's really cool. The only drawback is you can only summon this monster from your hand through Phoenixan Seed's effect. And you can't special summon it from the graveyard except through its own effect by removing one plant type monster from your graveyard. So that's the only drawback to this card, but still a pretty good card. Then you got two Titanial. What this card does is when you contribute one face-up plant monster you control to negate the activation of a spell, trap, or effect monster's effect that targets a card in the field and destroy it. So basically, if you have a good amount of plant-type monsters on your field when she's out on the field, your opponent tries to destroy cards like Black Garden, Miracle Fertilizer, stuff like that, you can send one plant monster to the graveyard to negate the activation of that card effect and destroy it. So it's pretty awesome. It only works if a card is targeted on the field, and you can even tribute Titanial itself to negate the card. So it's pretty awesome. Then you got one Gigaplant. What this card does is when this is on the field, you can give up your normal summon to resummon this to activate its effect. Its effect is once per turn, you can special summon one plant type monster from either graveyard to your side of the field. So it's a really good card. And you got two Botanical Lion. This card gains 300 attack points for every plant type monster on the field. And this card cannot switch control. So basically you can't use brain control, mind control, or creature swap on Botanical Lion. So it's pretty awesome. And when it's summoned, this monster automatically becomes 1900 attack points because this gains 300 for each plant on the field, including itself. So it's pretty awesome. Then you got two Lone Fire Blossom. You tribute this card, especially on one plant type monster from your deck to the field. So you can get like Titanial after using two of these. So it's pretty cool. And you can also use this with Miracle Fertilizer and stuff like that. So it's pretty awesome. Then you got two Lord Poison. When this card is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one plant type monster from your graveyard. The only plant type monster you cannot summon with Lord Poison is the Phoenixan Cluster Amaryllis. Then you got two Botanical Girl. This adds a plant type monster with 1000 defense or less when this is sent to the graveyard. So you can add like Phoenixan Cluster Amaryllis or Phoenixan Seed. If you don't have one of them in your hand, you can add the other. So it's pretty much awesome. Then you got one Phoenixan Seed. This is what gets Phoenixan Cluster Amaryllis out onto the field. You send this to the graveyard to special summon one Phoenixan Cluster Amaryllis from your hand. Then you got the Tuners, Nettles, and Copy Plant. Then you got Morphin Jar to wrap up the monsters. Now for the spell cards, you got free Black Garden. This basically cuts any monster's attack points in half when they're normal summoned or special summoned. So not much said about it. You know what it does. Then you got free Market of Rose. You can steal your opponent's monster, but then during your end phase, it goes back to their field. But then during your standby phase, it returns to your side of the field as long as this card remains on the field. Then you got two Miracle Fertilizer. This is a really good card. This special summon one plant type monster from your graveyard, but you cannot normal special summon another monster if you use this effect. And if the monster summoned through this effect is removed from the field, this card is destroyed. So it's pretty cool. And it's a really good combo with Brionac, which I'll explain in a little bit. Then you got two Book of Moon. Then you got two DDR, Different Dimension Reincarnation, two Light and Vortex, two Trade-In, and one Card Destruction. Now for the trap cards, you got two Polynosis, two Wall of Thorns, Mirror Force, and Torrential Tribute. Now for the extra deck, you got one Magical Android, Allied Justice Catastor, Queen of Thorns, Brionac. This pairs well with Miracle Fertilizer, which I'll explain in a minute. Then you got Flame Veil Uraquizis, Iron Chain Dragon, Goyo Guardian, Black Rose Dragon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Power Tool Dragon, Stardust Dragon, Bot Rule Archfiend, Colossal Fighter, Red Dragon Archfiend, and then Mistform. Now, let me explain about what this card is good with Miracle Fertilizer. So, you have Brionac on the field already. You use Miracle Fertilizer. And you summon a plant-type monster like Gigaplant. Then you give up Gigaplant's normal summon to use Gigaplant's effect. Then use Brionac's effect discard it, return Miracle Fertilizer in your hand, and you reuse it over and over and swarm the field with plants with like 2 Titanials, like Giga Plants, stuff like that. And you can OTK your opponents. So it's pretty awesome. So that's the build. Hope you all enjoy. More videos coming soon. Later, guys.